Hey there, Fortnite fans. Today I've got a triple review for you today. We have 3 Series 2 emotes. I'll show you here on the side. Series 2, we've got 3 of them. Leviathan right there, Boxer, and Polar Patroller. Here's a quick peek at the back of Leviathan's box. If you want to see, you see the cross sale are some older figures and unreleased. We've gotten Cluck, we've gotten Deadfire, Doggo, and Human Bill. Toon Meowscles was available in the UK for a while, and I'm not sure if he's still there. Chomp Sr., we've never seen him anywhere worldwide. I picked up this figure in the UK, so that's where I got this figure. I'm not sure if he's still available or not. Let's flip Polar Patroller around, and as you can see by this cross sale, this is part of the Monk's Wave. So I tend to think all these are the same. Boxer over here has the exact same cross sale as Polar Patroller. You have Monks, Isabelle, Fusion, Zev, Perfect Shadow, Eternal Voyager, Unvaulted Ruin, and limited edition Slurp Bandolette. She has not been released, but the rest of these figures have been found in Walmart stores. So without further ado, let's get these figures open, take a closer look at them. Here we have the 3 figures out of the box and all their accessories, and the first thing I'm going to point out is the elephant in the room, and that is, why is Leviathan laying down as opposed to standing up like the others? Well, this is something that, while is a really good thing for advertising in the package, one of the problems when you pose figures, let's bring him a little bit closer. Let's see if we can get him in focus here. Check out that right leg there. That out of focus right leg is bent. And so when you take him directly out of the package, as cool as that pose is, and I have to say, I think the pose is really cool, the legs are a bit bent because of how long they've stayed in that shape. And you could try to straighten it out, but it makes it kind of loose then. So this leg is now really loose because of how it's been posed in that package. Even this one is very loose. And we've had that with a couple other figures in the past. Burnout is one major one that even to this day I still can't get to stand properly because the plastic is bent so badly. You can see. So I do love posed figures in packages. I love seeing it, and they look really good. And this guy looks awesome in his package. It's just, it takes a toll, especially when it's in the package for so very long. So I'll try to heat this figure up, and see, that's the thing. If it's for a kid's not going to heat this figure up and say, oh, let's heat the figure up before we play with it. That's not how kids work. They want something out of the box, ready to go. And I don't know if it's the type of plastic that they use. I'm trying to get this figure to stand. There we go. We got the figure to stand. So it can stand. It's not like it's completely useless. It can apparently stand. So, but I don't like the looseness of this. Let's bring in the original Leviathan. We've had this figure before. There's a few things to point out that I think are pretty apparent. So let's see. How close can we get this figure? All right. So can you see some of the differences that I see? I know we're talking about an old figure first, because we got this Leviathan way back in 2019 with a late game survival kit, who also was packaged with Crackshot. But take a look at the gold. My arm's kind of in the way here, but of the light. But this gold on the original figure is much brighter and goldier than the original one, and the white is even a little bit different. There's almost like a pearly sheen to this white as opposed to more of a flat white over here. So there are some differences in that regards. And if you're a completist, take a look at the bottom of the feet. The new guy, number 40. The original, no number. So Leviathan is in fact figure number 40, but beyond that, he actually bends and moves quite well compared to the original. The original one I found to be a bit tight. So he rotates and articulates quite well. So that's why I had him lying down. Now, let's get to the new figures, the ones that we haven't seen before. So right here, let's talk about Boxer. Of all 3 of these, I think Boxer just might be the better looking one. And so Boxer's sitting over here, coming with Sproing. We'll talk about Sproing in just a moment. And he's got the Box Basher harvesting tool. Check this thing out. I'm going to have to move these guys off to the side focus in on just one figure at a time because my camera just doesn't like to be confused. So here we go. We got the box basher harvesting tool, and surprisingly, this thing is kind of heavy. Heavier than I would expect it to be. Now, Boxer here has been found in Canada at GameStops. So that's pretty cool. I picked mine up from China a while back, and I've just been kind of waiting to get to him. He is made, or his outside pieces like the box around the torso and even the head is made of a soft rubber. It's not really a hard plastic. The shoulder pads are also soft rubber. You can see I'm kind of flipping those things up and around. Let's see, that's hard plastic there. That's hard plastic. That's even hard plastic, that arm band. But yeah, you can see. I like this. Pointing up this side up on his shoulder there. Recycle, reduce, reuse, recycle, I think is what it's called. And down here, funny enough, this one has an umbrella on his shin. But I like this figure. This is one of the figures that reminds me why I like these Fortnite figures. Because some of them are goofy, some of them are way out there and odd. It's like the bananas and the hot dogs and the bears. You know, I never thought I'd want an action figure of someone dressed up in boxes. I just never thought that would be a thing. Now here we are, 2023, and I've got a figure who's essentially hiding in a box. It's like a Halloween costume. On the side note, it'd be really cool if we got the skull version of Boxer sometime in the future. But yeah, that's pretty neat. I really like this. He has really good articulation. There's nothing hindering the articulation whatsoever. He comes with all the standard articulation. Surprisingly, his head can actually look up and look down. I'm impressed with that. And if you want him to sit, he could mostly sit. He's as good as just about any other figure out there. He does have a rotation at the waist, and I think there is a torso cut up there because he moves and wiggles around like there's one. Except for my left foot here, not my left foot, but Boxer's left foot, everything moves really well. I'm going to have to heat this thing up because it doesn't want to bend. So because of that, he's kind of like standing with his left leg forward just a little bit. Pretty cool. Oh, one thing I will mention, this is made of the same material that I wish Jazwares would understand, that if certain accessories are next to it for very long, the paint will leach onto it. We got actually a dark spot over here. But the paint will leach and meld into this soft rubber. And I'll point something else out in a minute on another figure. But here we have Sproing. And this is awesome. This is cool. Slightly disappointed only because I thought this might be like one of those old school or old time toys that when you press down it would kind of click, and then after a few seconds it would just pop up. This instead is made of just a metal spring, and actually I'm impressed the fact that it's actually a metal spring because we don't tend to see metal in these types of toys very often. So the fact they put metal is actually really impressive. All it really does is just bounce around. So Sproing. And if you wanted to push him down, he goes a little ways. But he's just mostly a bouncing thing. How well does Boxer fit on this dude? I mean, I think most all figures are going to fit on the Sproing very well. And I think he looks good doing it too. I'm not going to take the time to like put his hands on the handles, but can the llama Sproing bounce him off? Boing. Well, that wasn't a true test. Let's see if we can bounce this dude off. Boink. It's almost like a projectile missile from the G.I. Joes of the 90s. Now, this is a lot of fun. Wait, no. You got to stay on it. Dude, stay on it. And boink. Should we do this one more time? I know, I'm wasting your time and I'm having a load of fun here. Come on, dude. I think I found something that maybe Jazwares wasn't quite aware of, that you could just sit here and just like boing. There we go. There's Boxer. Okay, we're getting enough of that. Boxer's really awesome. I like this figure. I like the look. I like this design. It's so much fun. Just an interesting figure. Let's clear things off and bring in our next contestant, and that is Polar Patroller. And yes, definitely have something interesting to say about this figure. We're going to set Little Monster over here for just a moment. All right, so out of the package, it's what I mentioned with Boxer earlier. Polar Patroller has a soft rubber vest. And as I was pulling this figure out, I don't know if you noticed, but I have a green spot on my finger. And that's because I came across some wet, gooey, green goo on the back here. And after some investigation, I discovered that this rocket launcher in package is setting like right here, right up against the back. And because of how long this figure is in the box, or has been in the box, and how long this has been up against, this paint has melted onto this. So when I pulled it off, it came with a snap, but it was also still wet, and it transferred onto me. And this is one of those things that I wish there would be more testing with. All these soft rubber... Okay, so here's a little storage tip. When you store your figures, if you haven't learned by now, make sure these accessories, the weapons, the harvesting tools, back blings, all these different things, if you store them with your figures, make sure they are in a baggie separate from the figures. You do not... I mean, this is still sticky. I put my finger here, and it's sticky. So, like, look at this. I don't know, quality control and all that, but let's see. I don't know if you can see, there's green on the tip of my finger, and actually there was green right there on my thumb from just pushing my finger. I mean, I'm kind of getting it pulled off, so there's a little bit of green right there, but yeah, this paint is still, it's like it's fresh paint. And I can't imagine that's a good thing. And some people may not want to hear this. You might not want to know about this. But I would think there might be some health implications with having something like this out there with that green paint, how it's melted onto the rubber plastic, or the rubber plastic, just the rubber, the plastic from the rubber, having that paint leach off onto it, and then have kind of wet paint that, people can put in your mouth. I mean, I know we're not dealing with babies here, but come on. I mean, that's a big thing to me. Maybe I should do a video showing all the figures that's happened to. I have so many figures with these soft rubber pieces that have paint splotches on them because at some point or another, a weapon sat next to it for too long. It's not like I put right up to it and it's going to turn green, but you do that and after about a day you're going to have, actually it did stick to it. It did stick to it. Maybe I did this side. Maybe I did the wrong side. So anyway, let's get back to the figure. He's a cool looking figure. We'll talk about this issue in another video. I think it's important. Now, Polar Patroller, he's a bulky dude. And we'll talk about him no, I'm kidding. This is a bulky dude, and I played around with the articulation a little bit to see how well he worked, and this is amazing. Really, it actually is. If you want him to sit, he can sit really pretty well. I'm actually impressed at how well his legs go out. You want him to do the splits? Hey, you know what? That's okay. Rotation at the thighs, and look at this. You get him to bend his knees back, double pin knees, and he takes his knees back really far. He's got even some awesome articulation hinge work here at the feet. I mean, look at that. The floppy feet all over the place. Arms rotate all the way around, and even has something slightly different than most figures, and that is a butterfly joint here inside the arm. And now, let's rotate the arm this way. I mean, it's a little bit. I don't know if it's supposed to go further than this, but you can kind of see it. I got quiet because we're testing this butterfly. You can see it there a little bit. So it does a little bit. I don't know if it's amazing or extraordinary, but hey, it's a really cool step in, I think, a great direction to get butterfly joints in these smaller figures. I think it's an awesome, awesome test. And you know what? it adds just a little tiny, teeny bit more articulation to a big, bulky figure. And while it might not be perfect, I think it's a step in the right direction. Look how well his arm can hinge. It's almost 90 degree, if not, maybe from my angle, it might be 90 degree, but I can't quite see it. So I think that's pretty cool. You got his left arm over here, which is far bulkier than his right. And so it does not go 90 degree, but it has some nice stop points in there, and I think that works pretty well. Do I wish it would go more? Sure, I wish it'd go more, but golly, come on, that's a pretty bulky arm, and I kind of like the shine to this paint here. I think the shine on the elbow pads and the knee pads almost makes me think more of a premium level because it looks like nice paint. This is a nice looking figure. His head rotates back and forth. I can't see that it has a hinge in there. If it does, I can't see it. The head kind of goes back and forth a little bit. Up and down, and there's a click. So I'm guessing there must be a hinge in there somewhere, but I can't actually feel it. There's definitely rotation at the waist, and I don't know because of the vest. It looks like there might actually be a torso cut in there. So, he can go side to side. He's got, for a big bulky figure, he's got some pretty decent articulation, I think. And as we've already discussed, he comes with a rocket launcher. Now, Little Monster here. Little Monster is pretty sweet. Look at the metallic type paint on this exhaust over here. It's got the flames on the side, green wheels, black body. This is like a truck, a monster truck, and it's got shocks. Look at that. It's got some shocks, and it rolls really good. Let's get these guys back. Yeah, there, yeah. More power, right? Anyway, this is an awesome truck. So, it's got some nice shocks to it. And from what I understand, I have this in game, but I can't remember. I think the characters, they just kind of kneel in the back of this truck. And I had him kneeling in the back of it earlier. But stretching around camera makes it a little bit more difficult. Bend him forward just a little bit. And yeah, I had him in here and it worked really well. Wow. It's the monster truck that's having trouble. I mean, see, there you go. So yeah, he can get in there and you can roll around with Polar Patroller and Little Monster. Hey, can we flip him off? Or flip him out just like Spring? Well, kinda, but in a slightly different way. So I like this figure. I think this guy's amazing. I picked this figure also up in China, but he has been popping up in Canada at GameStop. So if you're up there, check this guy, find this guy. I think he's worth the price of admission. And hopefully at some point soon, I hope both Boxer and Polar Patroller make their way down to the US so everyone in the US can find these. And why not pop up in Australia and the UK as well? Let's just get these figures out worldwide. I mean, I'm talking like I have, any real power, and I don't. So on that depressing note, let's continue on and look at Leviathan, who, well, I kind of already looked at, but not really. So Leviathan doesn't come with a weapon, doesn't come with a pickaxe. Instead, he comes with the back bling, and this is the fish tank. Now, it's kind of interesting. This is a massive back bling. It makes me think of the 6-inch Legendary Series fish tank that we got with Leviathan. And it's a tight fit, but it will fit in there. I mean, that's a huge back bling, and maybe that's what it's supposed to be. I don't know. I'm pretty confident that I have it in game, but I'm not quite sure. Anyway, we talked about Leviathan. Let's not talk much more, but here we have Little Rover. And this one, okay, I'm just going to say this. I really enjoy the fact that we are getting these like mini vehicles. I think these little mini vehicles, these emotes, are really awesome. One of the best things ever. I love these so much. I'm glad these are in the game, so we get like little vehicles. Makes me think of the battle action backpacks from G.I. Joe, the ones that would do things. Some were helicopters, some were little wheeled vehicles, some were crawling across ropes. I don't remember what they're called, just battle action backpacks of some sort. Now this has got gold here on the front, green for the seat. It's got a solar panel out back, metal rods. These things do move also a little bit. You can move the satellite dish back and forth. This looks like a camera up here you can rotate. This popped off on me earlier, and I think you are supposed to be able to rotate it. Maybe not, actually, now that I look at this, because you don't really rotate this. That doesn't really rotate. But I like the wheels. They look like they bump over things as they go along. And so we have Leviathan, who, as we've learned, could stand if held the right way. So what about sitting in this thing? Because some figures have a little bit of trouble actually sitting. But, you know, this is like a space walk, not a walker, but like a space disability craft. I don't know. It's like so small. And you can get his hands in there, but I'm having a tough time just for reaching around the camera. So it will go in there. I can see it from here, it will. And then, there you go, you got Leviathan on his little rover. Vroom, vroom, vroom. As he's heading out into space, he's not going to cause harm. No, no, no. He is not looking for somebody to feast on, so to speak. I mean, he is like a piranha or something in there. He's like a space alien guy. He's not looking for fresh meat. No, no, not him. These things are awesome. Let's wrap this up with these last few figures. There we go. Let's move them over. There we go. Let's move them over. I like these three. These three are awesome. I mean, Leviathan is probably my least favorite just because we got him before. I think Boxer is my top favorite of these three. Polar Patroller is a very close second. These two are practically tied. I really like this Polar Patroller. I like him a lot. We're just going to keep bringing things and setting them in there. But yeah, I think if you have the opportunity to get these two, grab them. And then if you've already gotten Leviathan in the past, you know, Little Rover is almost worth it. This is almost worth it, I would say. It's almost got shocks too, I'm noticing. Like, I can push down on it just a little bit and it kind of like sinks. So it's got like a little bit of shock there. I don't know. Anyway, thank you for stopping by and watching. If you have an opportunity to pick these up, I would say go for it. All these little vehicles, even the Spring's kind of fun too. They're all really fun. And if you're not going to get them for yourself, get them for your kids. We're coming up on Christmas. If you can get them, these make a great Christmas. I like this. Ship it and watch it, pal. Just look at the okay. Thank you for watching. I'll see you in the next video.